Hello and welcome to Daily Prelims Practice. Here we take up MCQs based on important news and articles that have featured in The Hindu and Indian Express newspaper. Topics for today's discussion are displayed on your screen. Let's begin the discussion. So the first question of today's discussion is based on this article which featured in The Hindu newspaper page number 6. According to author of this article, the Bharat Jodo Yatra has succeeded in the important task of imagining and inaugurating a political counterculture grounded on the principle of fraternity or bandhutva. Author says that fraternity was not merely a value to aspire to, but a foundational principle to be upheld by all the political forces. Hence, it was included in the preamble as well as in the fundamental duties of our constitution. Now, previously, UPSC has been asking question based on preamble. As in 2017, it has asked a question based on preamble and its objectives. So, let's take up today's practice MCQ. Question says, with reference to preamble, consider the following statements. You have to identify the correct statement. Now, statement 1 says, the term socialist, secular and integrity has been added through 44th Constitutional Amendment Act 1978. Now, this statement is incorrect, as the preamble to the Indian Constitution is based on the objective resolution drafted and moved by Pandit Nehru. It has been amended by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1976. It added 3 new words, namely socialist, secular and integrity to the original text of the preamble. Now, statement 2 says, in Keshwanand Bharti case of 1973, Supreme Court opined that preamble is not a part of the Constitution. Now, this statement is again incorrect, as debate relating to whether preamble is part of Constitution or not has evolved through various Supreme Court judgments. In the Berubari Union case of 1960, the Supreme Court specifically opined that preamble is not a part of the Constitution. However, in the Keshwanand Bharti case of 1973, Supreme Court rejected the earlier opinion and held that preamble is a part of the Constitution. Supreme Court reaffirmed its view in the LIC case of 1995. So, the current opinion held by the Supreme Court that preamble is a part of the Constitution and is in consonance with the opinion of the founding fathers of the Constitution. So, as you had to find the correct statements, our answer would be D, that is neither 1 nor 2. Answer for this PYQ is B, that is economic liberty. Our next question is based on this news that featured on page number 7 of the Hindu newspaper. Article is about the role of the US speaker. Now, the topic of United States speaker is not that important from prelims perspective. However, UPSC has been asking question based on the power and function of Lok Sabha speaker, as in 2012 it has asked a question based on the role of Lok Sabha speaker. So let's have a look at today's practice question. Question says, with respect to speaker, consider the following statements. You have to identify the incorrect statement. Now, statement 1 says he can be removed only by a resolution passed by the Lok Sabha by a majority of all the then members of the House. Now, this statement is correct, as he can be removed only by a resolution passed by the Lok Sabha by a special majority, that is, majority of all the then members of the House, and not by an ordinary majority. Further, this motion of removal can be considered and discussed only when it has the support of at least 50 members. Now, statement 2 says, he decides on question as to disqualifications of members of the parliament in consultation with the election commission. Now, this statement is incorrect, as indeed speaker decides the question of disqualification of its member, but the consultation with election commission is more related to the power of president. President decides on question as to disqualification of member of the parliament in consultation with the election commission, whereas speaker decides the question of disqualification of member of the Lok Sabha arising on the ground of defection under the provisions of the 10th schedule of the Constitution. In 1992, the Supreme Court ruled that the decision of the Speaker in this regard is subject to judicial review. Now, third statement says when a resolution for the removal of the Speaker is under consideration of the House, he can preside at the sitting of the House. Now, this statement is again incorrect, as he cannot preside at the sitting of the House, though he may be present. However, he can speak and take part in the proceedings of the House at such a time and vote in the first instance, though not in the case of an equality of votes. So you had to find the incorrect statements. So our answer would be C, that is 2 and 3 only. Answer for this PYQ is B, that is 3 only. Our next question is based on this news which featured on the page number 6 of the Hindu newspaper. Now this article talks about the coming festival of Pongal and the event of Jallikattu related to it. Now previously UPSC has been asking questions based on various cultural features of Indian society. Like in 2014, it has given description of a festival and asked you to identify the tribes who are associated with that celebration. So let's have a look at today's practice question. Question says, which of the following regional festivals are associated with harvest or agricultural activity? Options are Magh Bihu, Lohri, Makar Sankranti and Pongal. Now Bihu is the staple festival of the Assamese people. Magh Bihu is also called Bhogali Bihu, is the harvest festival of Assam. This festival means Bhog, that is feasting, and marks the end of harvesting season in the month of Magh, that is January. The festival is marked by feasts and bonfires, traditional games like bullfight, cockfight, etc. Now second option, Lohri, is again a festival of harvest for people of the northern province like Punjab and Haryana. Lohri is the last night of Posh month and in the morning Makar Sankranti is celebrated. Lohri is celebrated on 13th January every year with great fanfare and enthusiasm. The festival is celebrated all over India with different names. Now, Makar Sankranti is not a festival associated with harvest or agriculture. It is a festival celebrated on 14th or 15th January every year when sun moves towards Tropic of Cancer in the Posh month and faces toward north, which is called Uttarayan. Next option is Pongal. Now Pongal is again a festival of farmers celebrated in southern India. The festival is celebrated for 4 days when people offer prasad to the sun god called Pongal. Hence the festival is named Pongal. This 4-day festival is called Bhogi Pongal, Surya Pongal, Mattu Pongal and Kanya Pongal. The festival begins on the first date of Tamil month Thai. Hence, this festival also brings Tamil New Year. So, eliminating the third option, that is Makar Sankranti, our answer would be C, that is 1, 2 and 4 only. Answer for this PYQ is B, that is Gond and Korku. Our next question is based on this news which featured in the Hindu newspaper, page number 4. News is about West Bengal getting its first manufactured sand facility through Coal India Limited's Green Mining Initiative. Now previously UPSC has asked question based on sand mining and issues related to it. Like in 2018, it has asked the impact of heavy sand mining in riverbeds. So let's have a look at today's practice MCQ. Question says, with reference to manufactured sand, that is M sand, consider the following statements. Statement 1 says, it is an artificial sand produced from crushing hard stones into small sand-sized angular shaped particles. Now this statement is correct. Statement 2 says it is a superior alternative to river sand for construction purpose. This statement is also correct as it is superior to river sand because the size of manufactured sand is less than 4.75 mm. Along with that, M sand has higher compressive and flexural strength. M sand particles are angular and have a rougher surface texture, allowing better bonding with the mortar in concrete, thereby providing improved strength properties. Now statement 3 says it is free from impurities such as clay, dust and silt and has denser particle packing than natural sand particle. Now this statement is again correct. And because of this feature, It reduces the voids in aggregate and hence saves cement requirement in concrete production. So as you had to find the correct statements, our answer would be D, that is 1, 2 and 3. Answer for this PYQ is B, that is 2 and 3 only. Our next question is based on this news which featured on page number 1 of the Hindu newspaper. News says that PMO reviews situation in sinking Joshimath. As you all know, there is a natural disaster in waiting in the town of Joshimath of Uttarakhand state. Now, geographical phenomena and disaster have been a repeated theme in UPSC preliminary examination. As in 2014, it has asked question based on soil erosion. So let's have a look at today's practice MCQ. Question says, consider the following statements with reference to land subsidence. Statement 1 says, land subsidence is a mass movement of rock, earth or debris down a slope. Now this statement is more related to landslides and not land subsidence. So our first statement is incorrect. Land subsidence is a gradual settling or sudden sinking of the earth's surface due to the removal or displacement of subsurface earth materials. Statement 2 says unregulated pumping of groundwater and the rapid pace of urbanization are the major cause of subsidence. Now this statement is correct. As you know, land subsidence is considered a natural as well as anthropogenic hazard and is irreversible. Natural events like earthquake, soil compaction, erosion, sinkhole formation, etc. causes land subsidence, while anthropogenic factors like removal of water, oil, natural gas or mineral resources out of the ground by pumping, fracking or mining activities causes land subsidence. Rapid pace of urbanization and construction activities like development of underground infrastructure such as metro and tunnels are also chief cause of land subsidence. And here people of Joshimath are claiming that tunnel for the hydropower project is the main cause of the subsidence of land in Joshimath. So as you had to find the correct statement, our answer would be B, that is 2 only. Answer for this PYQ is B, that is 2 only. Our last question of the day is based on the news that featured on the Indian Express newspaper, page number 1. News talks about how policy makers are mooting an idea to develop viable energy storage option. As India is adding almost 1000 megawatt of power generation capacity every month from non-fossil fuel sources. With a population of over 1.3 billion, India has a massive demand for energy to fuel its rapidly growing economy. Keeping in mind the Sustainable Development Goals, India's power generation mix is rapidly shifting towards a more significant share of renewable energy. Now today, India is the world's third largest producer of renewable energy with around 40% of its installed electricity capacity coming from non-fossil fuel sources. UPSC has been asking questions based on climate and the methods or technologies or steps that are being taken to preserve it. As in 2021, it has asked question based on climate group. So let's take up today's practice question. Question says consider the following, that is nuclear energy, biopower, wind energy and large hydropower. Question asks you to find the correct sequence of India's installed renewable energy capacity in descending order, that is from highest to lowest. Now, if you will talk about installed capacity of renewable sources of energy in India, solar power stands at 48.55 gigawatt, whereas large hydroelectricity projects stands at 46.51 gigawatt. Wind energy stands at 40.03, whereas biopower stands at 10.62 gigawatt. Nuclear power stands at 6.78 gigawatt, whereas small hydro power constitute 4.83 gigawatt. So as you had to find the descending order, first would be the large hydro power with 46.51 gigawatt capacity. Then wind energy, then biopower, and in last nuclear energy with 6.78 gigawatt of installed capacity. So our order would be 4, 3, 2, 1. That is D. Answer for this PYQ is B. 1, 3 and 4 only. That's all for today. Stay tuned for more such updates.